Red Hood, 40 something.
48. I'm on the cover now.
Oh, you're correct. Oh, good. Good news.
Yeah. It's obviously Lobdell writing with Brett Booth on art. I'm not even saying, like, often these issues I am salvaged by some decent art. Until recently, anyway. Do you know what really hurts as well?
Mm-hmm.
The cover eyes. It's a Dan Mora and Tamara Bonfilm doing the cover. So I'm like, oh, that's a nice cover. And then you open it up and it's freaking Brett Booth. That's just cruel. I'm confused by just the placement of this issue. So this is a Joker War tie-in, and this is actually, I'm going to say this part of it is not Lobdell's fault because that's clearly an editorial demand, right? But it's a very, very weird place in the story to throw and do a crossover. It's not like it's in the middle of an arc. Last issue had, I say, if you recall, I'm sure neither of you do.
No.
It had the past versions of the Outlaws. Jason, you had Roy and Starfire showing up, through in this place there, that Chamber of All.
That
and
seems familiar.
Yeah, and they, and that was the final cliffhanger was, holy shit, it's us in the past. Was the cliffhanger, and this opens with, like, the first page is a full page spread splash, kind of, except the top, like, third is kind of cordoned off. And it's like it's in like a sepia tone. It's a current present day Red Hood going Roy, and then it's Roy going technically Arsenal. Notice the mask. What's wrong with you? You look like you've seen a ghost. And it's like, okay, so this is directly picking up where we left off, and then it does like a page rip sort of thing, like that's like been ripped out by the rest of it, and underneath you have just Red Hood riding on a bike in Gotham, and then the credits show an untold story of the Red Hood just in time for the Joker War crossover. And I'm very confused because are you telling me everything in this run has been after the Joker War crossover now? Because there's some serious timeline things, discrepancies popping up here, and I just you can't do an untold tale as if this is in the past, in the middle of this present story. Like, it's such a bizarre cutaway choice that I just do not understand. It doesn't help the rest of the issue is terrible, don't get me wrong, but just on the very first page, I was like, what is going on here? Why is this happening? But basically, Red Hood's riding around Gotham, trying to do some stuff. Joker is doing Joker War shenanigans, eating pizza like he does, I guess. Sends Punchline on it. Although somehow I'm going to mention it never named Punchline in this issue, and it's really weird. The first bit here, it's a bit of a tease because he's like, "Oh, I'll put the best woman on the job, right?" And it's Punchline in silhouette, in the deep shadows, just going to say always. And it cuts away. It's Jason talking about Margun's school and all the origin history stuff. You got some flashbacks to his early days with Bruce, some terrible dialogue. It was Jason saying, I'm not going to be friends with you. And Bruce being like, I got you accepted into Margun's home. Just wanted to make sure you're happy.
Hey, we've just been reading that on previously. Because I'd never read any of that Margun stuff before.
Yeah. And then Jason's dialogue. This is young Jason, obviously, pre-Robin days, but just after he's met Bruce. Actual dialogue here. OMG. So happy I could squeak. And all of this flashback is all black and white except red, which is just really, really, really red.
Right.
Like vibrant red. Not like subtle, just in your face, as if you didn't get it. But Jason, he gets into Margun's home. It's all abandoned, obviously. And he's like, I can hear a sound I'll never forget. The sound of metal on flesh and bone. I heard it again and again the night I died. That's like, this is terrible. And it's Punchline beating up Joker's daughter. And this is where I've given Lobdell credit in the past on this run for doing a good job with kind of throwing up name bubbles when characters appear. Just for people who are unfamiliar, just to remind you. And I know Punchline is the hot new thing that's going on, but hypothetically, if you were just reading Red Hood and you were not reading anything else from DC, you don't keep up with the news, you didn't know who Punchline was, this would be terrible. Because, she's there, she's got a crowbar that she's, hitting Joker's door with. And she's like, oh, were you expecting someone else? And, and he goes, oh, no idea who this lady is. But, that's Joker's door. And Punchline starts to say, my name is, and then before she finishes, it cuts off with Jason going, yeah, no interest. And never actually says her name for the rest of the issue. And I'm like, this is really weird. Like, that's really jarring, especially in this run, which has been quite consistent at naming characters. But yeah, I guess I guess Jason and Joella Dent have a bit of a history that I don't remember, because they obviously know each other, and and he's trying to save her, and it goes badly. Punchline blows up the place; it's all on fire, and Jason's carrying her out. And I'm not sure if she's dead or not. It's hard to tell. I don't think she is. But then this is where I found out that one of the goons that Jason was fighting all this shoot, just some guy in a clown mask. You see him all the time, right? In Joker War. Turns out that was Dick Grayson. That outfit with the red shoulders that he was wearing in Batman.
Mm-hmm.
That was what he's been wearing while he's been mind controlled by the Joker and been doing his bidding. And he's been running around in Joker War in the city, terrorizing citizens and working with Punchline.
Oh boy.
And I'm like, I do not want to read any of this shit ever.
No, I'm glad that's over now, though.
Yeah.
God, I'm so lucky.
But yeah, they're like, they're like, oh, you know him. What's he going to be like? And Jason's like, oh, you should know. He can be obsessive. He's not going to accept that she's dead until he finds a body in the wreckage. And she's like, oh, already taken care of. He'll assume that the homeless girl's body was left as the Joker's daughter. And they've got her there. That was the end. Yeah, because they're in like the back of an ambulance van that they've obviously sold, giving her a Joker's face back. Yeah, that's it. And then it's like Joker War continues in Nightwing 74, and the end of the Outlaws begins in Red Hood 49. My God. But this was a bizarre issue. And I don't even like. I can't even blame Lavelle too much for the tie-in element of it, because obviously this was forced by editorial. I'm sure he didn't volunteer for this. But it was such a terrible place in the story to do it, even though I didn't care about the story, just structurally, this huge cliffhanger. And then it's not even like we just pretend that didn't happen, we're just going to do a one-shot. It actively addresses it in the very first page by going, yeah, we know this is going on. Well, don't worry about it. And then cuts away to this thing that was supposed to be an untold tale that happened before all the stuff that's been going on. But this stuff has been going on for so long that the timeline, even by comic standards, is questionable. Very, very frustrating. And it's Booth on art. It's exactly what you expect. Lots of really rough, just very loose pencils. Lots of the extreme motion lines that he likes. The really massive faces.
To me, Booth's the worst of the 90s style.
Yeah.
So I know people that like that, it's not for me.
This is not like particularly good or bad Booth. It's par for the course, exactly what I expect from him. But I mean, I don't like that, so it's not a great place to start. But yeah, that's it. I'll give it a 3.